There are moments in The Princess and the Frog that are undeniably beautiful. Images filled with light, color, symmetry, moments that feel almost perfect. And yet, sometimes when you sit with them a little longer, they don't feel full. They feel distant, like something is missing. Not in an obvious way, but in a way that's hard to explain. And maybe the question isn't just what we're seeing, but how it's being shown to us. This is Beneath the Frame, where we take a closer look at how film creates deeper meaning. This is the first part of a three-part exploration of The Princess and the Frog, where we're starting with a simple idea: how the film frames what its characters want. Throughout this film, there's a technique that shows up again and again and again. Characters framed by windows, by light, by reflections, by shapes that repeat and surround them. At first, it feels natural, even beautiful, but over time, something begins to shift. Because framing doesn't just draw our attention to something, it can also separate it. It can take something that feels alive and turn it into something we can see, but no longer enter. At the beginning of the film, we're given an image that feels almost like a storybook. A tower, glowing with soft pink light, framed against the deep blues of the evening sky. It's delicate, elevated, almost untouchable. And maybe that's part of what makes it feel so beautiful. Inside, we enter Charlotte's world, a space filled with pink, gold, softness, symmetry. Everything is carefully arranged. Everything has its place. And within that space, Tiana is there too. She doesn't match the space, not in color, not in style, and yet she doesn't feel out of place to us, or at least me, because the space holds her, but it doesn't define her. It's a shared space, but one that already feels preserved, like something that's been arranged, rather than something being lived. Later, we begin to see this more clearly in the drawing Tiana carries with her, her dream captured on a single piece of paper. The space is warm, golden, framed again and again by soft rings of light. Everything is calm, everything is controlled. And at the center, there's a figure, sitting, being served, part of the space, but also contained within it. The dream is there, clearly visible, beautifully framed, but already it feels frozen. As the film moves forward, this kind of framing doesn't go away. It multiplies. Nowhere is that more clear than in Almost There. Tiana dances through a world that feels entirely her own, a space built from movement, rhythm, color. But as she moves, her image is eventually repeated, reflected again and again and again, dozens of times. Each version of her perfectly aligned, perfectly placed, perfectly framed. And yet, the more she appears, the more isolated she begins to feel. She moves through the space effortlessly, helping people, serving, creating, surrounded by people, but never quite with them. She moves past them, through them. Everything flows, everything works, everything repeats. Success, recognition, admiration. It's energy without connection, movement without relationship. And maybe that's the shift. Because framing a dream should create fullness. But here, it starts to create distance. Because sometimes, when something becomes fully framed, it can start to feel like something we can see, but no longer step into. We see this kind of framing elsewhere too, but used very differently. With Facilier, characters are boxed in, surrounded, controlled by shapes and shadows that close in around them. Here, framing doesn't elevate. It traps. It starts to feel dangerous, not just because of what it does to others, but because of what it might do to a dream built entirely inside it. Across the film, these images keep returning. Beautiful, structured, carefully framed. And slowly, they begin to feel different. Not wrong, not broken, just disconcerting and incomplete. Because the more clearly something is framed, the more it stands apart from everything else. And maybe that's the tension the film is quietly building. That something can look exactly the way we imagine it, and still feel like it's missing something. So I'm curious, when you watch these moments, do they feel complete to you? Or does it feel like something is just out of reach, even when everything is right there on screen? In the next part, we'll follow that feeling into the spaces these dreams exist in, and what happens when a dream finally has to be lived. So what do you think might be happening beneath the frame?